Hello, hello everyone. This is Miss Span with Miss Span's Fundamentals of Learning, 5 tips in 5 minutes. And this week we are focusing on building a strong math foundation. We want our children to be ready once they enter school to add, to recognize numbers, to organize numbers. So today we're going to talk about some ways that we can start to do that at home. Tip number 1, let's practice on counting with our children. Now, our 2-year-old already knows how to count to 16 because every time she goes up and down the steps, her dad makes sure that they counted each step on their way down and on their way up. Very simple, very basic, something that you can practice every day. And now that she knows, she actually starts to count those steps on her own, and we don't even count them with her anymore. So counting steps, if you have steps in your home, counting steps as you're walking to the grocery store, as you're walking into a store, counting the number of fruit snacks that they have in their pack, counting the number of cookies that they have in their pack, anything that's going to have them practice and hearing those numbers often will be really good for them. Tip number 2, we want to make sure that they can recognize numbers, and it's okay if we're giving them the number and we're telling them, okay, this is the number 3, or this is the number 2, this is the number 1, this is the number 0. They need to know 0. A lot of times I hear families skip around 0. 0 is very important because 0 doesn't have an amount or doesn't have a quantity, and they need to be able to understand that. Okay, so having index cards, you know, these are my favorite, having index cards where they can recognize the number, and also where they can match the number. So on the back I just have some minion stickers. This is the number 3. This is what 3 looks like. Okay, I have a lot of girls, and my girls are counting. Like I said, I have a 2-year-old, and we have these barrettes. We use them all the time. So then maybe I could show her the number 2 card, and she gives me 2 barrettes. So anywhere where they're actually matching the number with a group of objects, that's very important for them to start to practice. Okay, so matching the number to a group of objects. And then we can also make sure that they're practicing organizing the numbers. So let's say I give them these cards, or we're working on these cards together, and I want them to organize them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I want them to actually organize those numbers because it's very important for them to know this number comes before, this number comes after. That's a lot of the language that they hear in the classroom. So we want to make sure that we're kind of front loading that and using that same language with them at home. So if I have 3 and 4, we could talk about what number comes before 4. Okay, we could talk about the number that comes before 3, or the number that comes after 3, making sure that we're using that language to help them organize their numbers as well. Okay, another thing that we want to make sure that we're doing is we're exposing them to books that have numbers in them, so that it's not an isolated thing. They don't think of reading or math. They realize that those two things can go together. They can exist together. I could have a reading book that also has numbers inside of it. I could have a reading book or a workbook that also has math inside of it. Okay, and then the last thing I want us to make sure that we have is very old school, a piggy bank. Making sure that they have access to money that they can put in their hands. Because we pay for things online a lot. We use debit cards a lot. We want to make sure that they have a piggy bank. Now, this is my 7-year-old's piggy bank, and this is my 2-year-old's piggy bank. Okay? And making sure that they have access to coins, to dollars, so that they can see what it looks like. Okay? For when they actually are in the classroom and they're actually working with money. So for this week, let's build that strong math foundation at home. Let's make sure that we are counting with our children. Let's make sure that they are organizing numbers. Let's make sure that they are matching numbers. They're reading books about numbers. and we have a piggy bank for them to use and have those coins and things with them. Okay, this has been Miss Span with Miss Span's Fundamentals of Learning, 5 tips in 5 minutes. I thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and comment.